Today, with less than 48 hours to go until the World Cup starts in Russia, was to talk more about, well, the World Cup. However, big story breaking in Europe as Real Madrid confirmed that Julian Lopetegui will be their new coach. Just a reminder, this is a man who is currently in charge of the Spanish national team. He will take charge of Real Madrid after the World Cup. This is a man who hasn't got too much domestic experience. He was manager of Porto back in 2014 for a couple of seasons before he took the Spain job. Before that, he very much worked with the youth team in Spain. He would manage Real Madrid Castilla back in 2008-2009. That's their reserve team, if you like. He played for Madrid off and on, not renewing that much in 88 to 91. This really is a huge shock. Just put it into context. When you take a look at the odds for the next manager, 25, 26 names are on that list. Lopetegui wasn't on it.
Well, it just shows you what the bookies know.
But no one knew.
This is what a good job he's been doing for Spain, because he's turned Spain around.
He wasn't that good. He wasn't on the bookies list.
Yeah, but because they thought he would stay with Spain. And, you know, I think he did a very good job with the Spanish junior sides, under 19, under 21s. That's where he made his name. He didn't do quite so well at Porto because he was brought there to win the championship. He didn't win the championship. But since he's been the manager of Spain, I think he's turned their fortunes around. They look a much better side. He's sort of blended the old Spain of keeping the ball with more penetration. So I think he's done a good job. But I was surprised that he was the Real Madrid manager.
Everyone's surprised. This is completely out of left field.
The timing could not be worse. We're 3 days away from the World Cup, and Spain is one of the favorites to win this tournament. And somehow, now the attention of Spain is divided because Julian Lopetegui has decided to take on Real Madrid. Look, call me old school. I don't know. But maybe your priority should be on the World Cup, which is about to start. Maybe you don't worry about Real Madrid. Maybe you tell Real Madrid, look, if you really want me, if you really want to have a conversation, let's do this after the tournament. Let me focus on what I have.
Is he not looking after himself a little? Say everything goes wrong in the tournament, then he's never going to have a chance to manage Real Madrid again. So surely he's just pretty much second-guessing himself.
That's on Lopetegui. I'm saying from the perspective of the outside looking in, I'm thinking, man, your focus should be on having your team prepared. What is the first phone call that Julian Lopetegui is making to his players? Who is the first player he's reaching out to for Real Madrid? That's Cristiano Ronaldo, isn't it? I mean, don't you want to know and have assurances that he's going to be in your team? Who does Spain play in the first game? It's Portugal. So, honestly, the timing is all wrong, and it's unacceptable, to be quite honest with you. The way I look at it is you focus on the team that you have in hand. You focus on the tournament that you have in front of you. You focus on the players that you have in your locker room. To be looking out for himself after the tournament, so be it. But right now, 3 days before the World Cup, the biggest tournament in the World Cup, the biggest event in soccer and football across the world, come on, man.
A report in Spain suggested that the Real Madrid players in the Spanish camp knew, and then someone else found out, so then they had to come public and tell everybody before all the rumours and everything.
I don't care. Don't bore me with how the story got out.
Okay, well, it's never stopped me before.
I'm with Ali here, 100%. I don't care what he does at Real Madrid down the line. We're going to focus on the World Cup, right? And here's you've got a guy who is managing a side capable of winning the World Cup, but it's a difficult 5 weeks because you've got to manage a lot of problems, a lot of players, a lot of egos. You've got the tactics, the press, the media, the training. You've got everything to deal with, right? And I guarantee, what's he going to be doing? He's going to be half World Cup and half phoning agents, trying to talk to players.
No, Sean.
Are you telling me?
Presumptuous, isn't it?
Are you telling?
Why can't you just say,
Are you telling me?
This time I'm focusing on Spain?
Because people, and subconsciously, you cannot switch off. He will have one eye on what he needs to do at Real Madrid next year.
Really? Do you believe that?
It has worked in recent years.
100%.
It's worked in recent years. Antonio Conte knew he was going to Chelsea, but he did well for Italy. They played far better than everybody thought they were going to play. Louis van Gaal was going to be the manager of Manchester United, but the Dutch got to the semi-final and won the third place player.
They got lucky.
They may have got lucky, but it worked. I'm not saying it's the right thing. I agree with both of you, but it has worked before with Conte and
okay, look, I know that people can walk and chew gum at the same time, okay? Yeah. But we're not talking about just any tournament, and we're not talking about just any team. We're talking about
one of the favourites,
Spain, and we're talking about Real Madrid. How you were able to juggle that it's something that I don't think he should have put himself through, but more importantly, he should not be putting his players through, because you know what the conversation is going to be in Spain and the Spanish media? You know what every press conference, every question is going to be about?
And the players have now got an excuse as well. If they don't perform well, the manager wasn't focused.
And
There's the excuse. The press, the manager wasn't focused. That's if we start losing games. And so that's the big problem.
He has exposed himself as well, because now you open a door that you didn't need to open. If Real Madrid was really interested in you, what is wrong with saying, hey, buddy, let's talk after the
Because it might all go wrong at the World Cup.
Well, he's got
Okay,
no confidence.
hold on a second. If that's the way that you're approaching the tournament, then it might all go wrong. That's it.
This is your one chance to manage Real Madrid. They come knocking.
Well,
He's coaching the Spanish national team. It doesn't get any bigger than that.
I'll tell you what, if he thinks he can't manage...
It obviously does.
If he thinks he's going to...
You?
No, for him. If the Spain job was so important, why would he turn down and rip up his contract that's got him in charge till 2020?
Did you not
Probably
hear me
three
when
times
I
the
say
money, that's the
that
reason.
I thought that the timing was all wrong?
You said that it's the biggest job. It's clearly not for him. It's clearly not the biggest job.
Money will also dictate it's not the biggest job, because Real Madrid will pay 3 times as much as probably Spain are paying him.
Okay, so are you defending the decision?
I'm not defending the
decision.
decision.
Are you defending the decision?
I'm just saying
I'm
that's
saying
the
that
one reason
saying
he'd go.
it's the biggest job coaching Spain.
No.
For him, it clearly isn't.
3 days before the World Cup, yes, it's Spain. The Spain national team job, yes, is bigger than Real Madrid. Yes. 3 days before the World Cup, yes.
For him, clearly not.
If you're saying... Listen,
No, but
listen. If you're saying, oh, you had to take it now because if it all went wrong from at the World Cup with Spain, he wouldn't have got the Real Madrid job. If he thinks it was all going to go wrong for him with Spain and this multi-talented group of players, it's never going to work for him at Real Madrid.
Yep.
But what if they give him a contract? Now or never.
You can't
Now
manage
or
this
never
Spanish team to a good finish at the World Cup. Might not win it, but to a good World Cup. He's never going to manage and deal with all the pressures at Real Madrid.
I thought
Never.
Spain were going to win the World Cup. That would change my mind.
Oh, don't start using that as an
the
excuse
press,
to get
No,
wrong.
honestly,
he's left himself
I think,
open to an absolute smashing from the Spanish press. If it goes a bit wrong for Spain, he is going to get absolutely battered. And Robbo, I think it was that said it, the players will just say, well, things haven't been quite right behind the scenes. The training's not been right. All the excuses will come out.
There.
And
You
they'll
don't
point to
need
the
too many.
manager.
Players don't need too many excuses to start pulling the wool over people's eyes.
Anyway,
they'll blame somebody else for the
Good luck.
mistakes.
Because hey, he'll be getting battered next year anyway because he's never out the microscope with Real Madrid.
He's a
anyway.
Real Madrid lover, isn't he? That's why he's saying it's a good.
Oh, that's why he was happy.
Said nothing. Antoine Griezmann, meanwhile, has angered some journalists because he said that he was going to make a statement about his future. This was his statement. Get ready. I'm really very sorry. I know that many of you are waiting for my decision, but I will not be revealing it today. I have made my choice. However, today is not the time nor the place to say what it is.
I actually don't. I actually think he thinks there's more people waiting for the decision than there actually is. There might be a few, but some fans, but there's not that many around the globe waiting on Antoine Griezmann's decision.
Quite a lot.
Well, how many?
Well, he's a big star, aren't they? They want to know, is he going to go to Barcelona or stay at
The ones
Atletico?
it's the Atletico Madrid fans that probably want to know.
And Barcelona fans, you'd suggest.
Sure, they're not that desperate.
Don't know what shirt to get.
They've got
Right,
they've got
Jules.
enough good enough players, have they not?
This is a big story. Where is he going?
Well, that's the big question. Yeah, we really thought that today, because he rarely comes to do press conferences when he's with the national team, we thought maybe today is the day where he's going to announce it. He's always said that he would reveal it before the start of the World Cup. So we thought, okay, today is the day. Actually, it wasn't the day at all. He said that he's made his mind up, but didn't reveal, as you said, where he's going to go. He's either staying or going to Barcelona. We all know that. It's interesting because, as we all know, on July the 1st, his release clause goes down from 200 million euros to 100 million euros, which obviously will make it far more attractive for Barcelona to wait a little bit to sign him. However, there's also a lot of signs saying that he wants to stay, for example, in the Thomas Lemar signing, who's going to join Atletico Madrid. Griezmann had a key role to play in that signing, which then would be strange for him then to help Lemar coming to Atletico Madrid and then just going. There's people around him who want him to stay. There's obviously, winning the Europa League and expecting a new deal to be signed with Atletico Madrid. So for me, he's going to stay, but he's keeping the suspense a bit longer.
Jules is in Moscow, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. It's not just
Tell you
saying,
what, Griezmann's a great player. I love watching him play, but he's become one big boring yawn with these statements. Honestly. One
On the
big,
show, he'd fit in well.
one big yawn.
Robbo, what's he going to do? What would you do if you were him?
I think I would stay. I think if he gets the big enough contract, he's still
You
talking
turn
about
down
money.
Barcelona?
I think I would at the moment. I think
Where are you going to win your trophies?
Probably Barcelona, but I think he's settled at Atletico Madrid. He's got a good understanding now with Diego Costa. He's talking about Lamar coming. Sometimes you're better off staying at the club where you're loved and you know exactly what your role is in the side.
Easy street.
And going, yeah, sometimes people would call it easy street. Sometimes it's best for people to stay. And I think he'd be.
Where's your
he'd do the right
ambition?
thing. I think he's still ambitious. You still want to make your team the best team. He wants to make Atletico Madrid champions, La Liga champions. He wants to make them a big side in Europe. They're in the Champions League because they won the Europa League. So I think that, of course, he could go to Barcelona. But I think he would actually do okay staying at Atletico Madrid.
I mean, you get one chance in your career a lot of times to go to some...
It's like managing Real Madrid, one chance.
This is the... shut up. It's the one time in his career that probably 4 or 5, maybe half a dozen of Europe's biggest clubs could all take this guy. Probably the only time.
So you would go?
100%. Take the chance now, you won't get it again.
I just think that Antoine Griezmann and Atletico Madrid have achieved what they were going to achieve together. That's it. I think they've reached the ceiling. It's not going to get much higher. It was a great run, and so now it's time to find something new, find something different, set different challenges for yourself, and set different objectives. This was the opportunity for Antoine Griezmann. From what we hear is, maybe being comfortable in Madrid is what he thinks is best for him, maybe best for his family. Who knows? The truth of the matter is that the opportunity is there and he doesn't want to take it.
What are French fans making of this? Because it is kind of distracting, isn't it, with the World Cup just around the corner, Jules?
Yeah, it is a bit. And also, the question is, why, if he was staying, why not saying it? He could have said it 2 weeks ago. He could have said it after the Europa League final. He could have said, listen, I'm happy here. My family is happy. I'm staying. I like the coach. I like the fans. I like him. Instead, he's not saying anything that can make you believe, well, okay, because he's going then. But then there's also signs, as we said, that he wants to stay. I agree a bit with the boys in terms of the lack of ambition. Although Barcelona's project, the way they presented it to him, is like, you're going to play wide. He doesn't really want to play wide. So I can see the cons as well of joining Barcelona. It's an interesting one. I just want, like Craig said, I want an end to it. I want to know. I wanted him to say, okay, I'm staying, I'm going. But I think we've done enough about it now.
He can't remember them, but you can go and check them out. Burley's World Cup Predictor over on the website. And speaking of Predictor, it is time for Alejandro Moreno to step up to the plate and tell us exactly how he thinks the teams will get on in the World Cup. Let's start off with the group stages, as always. Take you through it. You've got Russia going through over Egypt, Spain, Portugal, no real surprise there. Friends Denmark, Argentina, Croatia. Let's take it through to the other groups. You've got Mexico not making it through, Ali.
I just feel that Mexico is a team that is going to have a lot of the ball, and a team like Sweden feels comfortable in doing that. But Mexico doesn't defend set pieces very well, and that Sweden is an area that they do very well. In that game, Sweden may just win with a set piece and would be enough for Germany and Sweden to go through.
Belgium, England, meanwhile, Colombia, Senegal, Poland not making it. So let's just take a look then at how that sets things up for the bracket, starting off with Spain against Russia.
Am I allowed to touch this, or is it all you?
No, you touch these bits now.
Okay, all right, okay, fine. I'm going to go with Spain.
Okay. Argentina, Denmark.
Yeah. Self-explanatory, yes.
Germany, Switzerland.
Self-explanatory.
Okay,
as well.
now this is interesting, isn't it? Colombia, England.
It gets a little interesting. And see, this is where I could go with my South American roots. And that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, he teased me there. I just thought there might be a little bit of love for England, but there wasn't. Okay, let's go to the other side. South American, Uruguay to go through. Is this where we're just going now?
I think the roots of South America come just short in this one.
Really? Why Portugal over Uruguay?
Cristiano Ronaldo will have a big game, and it'll be enough to get past Uruguay. Uruguay is a difficult team to play against, but I don't think they're as good as they have been in the past.
I don't think you'd say that. France, Croatia. That's France, maybe.
They said France?
France, I think I may have said it.
We'll go with France.
Brazil, Sweden.
Yeah.
Belgium, Senegal. That's going to be a good game.
It's going to be a good game, but not good enough for Senegal.
Really? Belgium to go
over.
through. Okay, let's take it through to the quarterfinals then. Portugal, France.
And that's game set
Don't
match.
press that yet. You got to press that.
Sorry. My bad. Game set match for Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo. See you guys later. And Belgium, hey, yeah, well, you are a dark horse, not anymore. See ya. Take care. Dark horse is gone.
Brazil, France. Okay, let's take it to the other side. Spain, Argentina.
That hurts. This is a tough one. I don't even remember what I did here, but Spain, baby.
Spain?
Yeah.
Germany, Colombia, I imagine a little easier.
Yes, indeed.
There you go.
Yes,
So that South American laugh didn't last very long.
No, that's it.
France and Brazil.
It's Brazil. It's still Brazil.
Spain, Germany.
And it's still Spain. Look, I'm not picking upsets here. I'm going with the higher ranked teams. And when it comes to it, Neymar, Brazil, too much for Lopetegui and Spain.
Brazil then to win at the World Cup, according to Ali. What do you think? Well, you can go over to the website, fill out the match predictor for your chance to win a share of $40,000. We've talked at length, really, about Brazil, but not too much about the defending champions. It just seems to be a given, because they're Germany and because they've won it before and because they're organised and they've got a good squad, that they will go far in this tournament.
They go quite a way, but I don't think they're going to go to the very end. I don't think this is the Germany of 4 years ago. I think he's made a strange decision, the manager, in leaving Leroy Sané out. He was one of the best players in the Premier League, and putting Julian Brandt in the squad. Timo Werner as a striker is an okay striker. He's going to lead the line. I don't think he's an outstanding player. So there's lots of things that I think are wrong with Germany. Hummels has had a poor season for Bayern Munich. He looks as though he's slow to turn. He's not very good on his recovery runs. They're a good side, but they're not the side they were 4 years ago, and I think they've got a slight...
I think one of the things we talked about, it was the Leroy Sané issue. As good as he's been, was Jogi Löw had more than hinted at the fact that it was the fact it might be a problem if he doesn't play, and I think that was more the issue than his actual football.
Well, let's bring Raf Honigstein into the show from Moscow. Raf, just explain why this photo is causing such problems in Germany.
Causing problems because Ilkay Gündoğan and Mesut Özil met with the Turkish president, and Ilkay Gündoğan handed him a signed shirt that said "My President," which, if you're representing the Germany team, is not a great look, really. Slightly mixed message there. They were then sent to speak to the German president, the real one, to almost make up for their mistake. But he's since come out, Mr. Steinberger, and said he doesn't feel as if they really have seen where they went wrong, why it was wrong to meet somebody who's under huge criticism for human rights violations in Turkey, and some German journalists, in prison until recently. And it's because it hasn't really been addressed that this kind of lingers. And I think one or two people perhaps have always had the view that those are not really fully proper Germans, if you will, used it to show their disapproval, and we saw those boos in the stadium, and we see this kind of slight uneasy situation continue to pervade and cause a bit of shadow, throw a bit of shadow onto the preparations for Germany.
Robbo, just looking at how you think England are going to start out this tournament, this is the team you think Southgate should go with or will go with?
I think this is the team he will go with. He's definitely going to play with a back three. Walker will be the right-sided centre-half, who's normally a right-back. Stone's the middle, Maguire, because they can all come out with the ball from the back. Trippier hasn't got a great deal of pace, but he's a good crosser of the ball down the right-hand side. Rose, I think, is a good athlete and do well down the left-hand side. But it does mean you have to play with two holding midfield players. Dyer will probably be more of the holding. Henderson can get forward. Ali in behind Sterling and Kane. I think that's the side he will go with.
Why is Walker playing at centre-back when he's right?
Because Trippier is very good going forward, and I always believe if you're playing with three at the back, you're right. One of your centre-halves should be a former full-back or is comfortable going out into full-back areas. If you've got centre-halves who aren't comfortable going into wide areas and covering the wing-back, you might have problems in 1v1 situations. Walker is as quick as anybody doing that. And England did that in 1996. I know it's a long time ago when they played with three at the back. Neville played as the right-sided centre-half and Stuart Pearce played as the left-sided centre-half. So I think it sometimes worked, and I think that's the best side that he could probably pick.
Do you agree?
Yeah, more or less. I don't think he's got a lot of other options, to be honest. The worry I would have from an English perspective is the midfield and the back line in particular, particularly the back three. They're all decent enough players individually, but I was just saying to Robbo, all three of them want to come out with the ball. Maguire comes out with Leicester all the time. Stones takes chances, and all Walker will want to do is get forward, because he hasn't really got that discipline. So there's no, what I would call, natural centre-half there that's going to sit and I think organise. So I think that could be a big issue.
Well, they're also doing, that's why Dyer's playing. So when one of those comes out, I'm not saying it's the right, but when one of those comes out, Dyer, as the holding midfielder, will drop back in because he has played centre half for Spurs quite on a number of occasions this season.
I can tell you.
Robbo loves his wing.
Wing back, bingo. We got that down. Can I just say that we can talk about Maguire and Walker and this and that, but that England team that we just saw, that team doesn't beat Germany.
No, I don't think it does.
And so England is going to get to the round of 16, maybe advance past that, and then it's game over.
Yep.
And in my estimation, that's probably as good as they can hope to do. And to be honest with you, you look at that squad, and then you look at the list of players from the real top teams in this competition, and I just don't see. There's, I think, a difference between the two.
You're absolutely right.
They're in a different
Gareth
group
Southgate's
altogether.
got the best out of the players at the moment. They did well in the qualifying. I think they're going to get into the last 16, but no further than that.
Last 16 and that's it, but last
Maybe
16
the last
is
eight.
fine. So
Maybe last eight.
say they lose to Colombia in the
That would be poor. If they lose to Germany, that would be...
Well, it wouldn't be a surprise if they pulled Colombia and lost, would it? I mean, getting out of the group now for England is the starter. It used to be a given years ago.
But this group they'll get out of.
They should. They should. Finish bottom of the group in Brazil, albeit it was
Tunisia
a bit...
and Panama, they should beat Tunisia
Tunisia
and
and
Panama.
Panama.
Well, they should, but that's where their expectations are at the moment. They get out the group and then they take it from there.
Right.
I mean, years ago, at least they were trying to aim for a semi-final, which they did get to in 1990 with a much better team than this, by the way. So I don't see anything great for England at all.
So this, according to our ESPN FC editorial staff, is the top 10 World Cup power rankings. Brazil,
Thanks.
Germany, Spain, France,
Oh, it's,
Argentina, Belgium, England, Portugal, Uruguay, Colombia.
I bet that took hours.
Should we start with England? Ahead of Portugal, Uruguay and Colombia seems generous, does it not?
A little bit generous.
Well,
Based on their European Championships displays and their last World Cup. They're a better side at the moment, but I don't think they're as high as that.
They may have been a bit biased in there from the aforementioned editorial staff.
Are you sensing that maybe...
I presume I haven't got the facts and stats in front of me, but I presume the majority of them are of English descent.
Are they better than Uruguay, Colombia and Portugal?
Probably not. Probably not. Maybe
Would they be below all those sides, above all those sides?
Probably I think
we've got
we'll
a
be
bit
better
quiet.
than Portugal at the moment. Well, I'm not really that fussed about England because we're not going to be talking about them winning the competition.
Well, no, but I'm talking about them in this context.
Somebody's put a list together, okay?
Yes, and we're here to discuss this.
Uruguay are better than England. Uruguay.
You go right to England.
Colombia should be
You
above
go
England.
right
Oh, no, so what's the big takeaway for you from this list?
That it's so easy to do.
I think I just say for 3 minutes it was easy to do. I have to pick out something.
You don't need that right.
Also receiving votes, Croatia and Mexico.
Yes.
Oh, they'll be well pleased about that. Oh, hey, Croatia, I'll give you some votes.
Should Croatia be in the top 10? Right, Robbo.
Yes.
Should Croatia be in the top 10?
No, I don't think they should be. No, they shouldn't be. They're a good side, but they're not going to go much further than the last 16.
What about Mexico, Ali? They had some votes.
I need to find some more teams here.
Does that mean that we have Mexican
some
representatives in the editorial room as well?
Maybe, but do they deserve a place in that top 10?
No, I don't think so. And I think even the Mexican media would tell you that they don't quite know what they're going to get from Mexico in this World Cup. There's been a whole lot of conversation about Juan Carlos Osorio and the rotation that he has with players, no consistency in the starting lineups. I don't see Mexico getting out of the group. And if that's the case, then clearly they don't belong in the top 10 of the power rankings.
Struggling now.
Is there anyone in the top 10 you feel should be there? No.
Well, the thing is, right, this is where we're going. And lo and behold, when they put 48 teams in, nothing's going to change.
Right.
So, what's the point?
So what you're saying, you should just...
What's the point? Putting a list together, a power rankings list of World Cup teams and saying, oh, discuss this. Oh, there's 15 teams that could be in there. No, there's not. There's not.
So those 10 are the right teams?
About so, yeah. World Cup winners,
The first
European
six. The first six are the teams.
What about the order of those teams?
I tell you what, this list is really upsetting me.
No kidding. You don't say.
It's been a long day. I don't need editorial sending us that. And then you talking about England.
I had 3 minutes, Craig. What do you want me to do?
I don't know. Think Think outside the box.
For more on this ranking,
More?
Go over to the website. Shaka's breaking it down.
Oh boy.
Welcome to Extra Time. We've been in the studio for a very long time today,
Yep.
so who knows what this could deliver.
Yep. You okay? Get through this.
The tournament's not started and you're already looking over at me thinking, how the hell am I going to get through this?
No, we've what, had 4 years together, 5 years?
You've done well to last that long.
Well,
It's been some tough moments. Roller coaster, really.
Why are all experts rating Portugal so low? Isn't the fact they are reigning Euro champions in consideration? Some of ESPN experts, like Mr. Gab and Mr. Julian, didn't even have them getting out of the group in their respective predictors. Where did you have them go in your predictor, Craig?
On your list.
can we put it up?
No, we can't put it up. I'm sure you remember. So imagine you got them finished second in the group.
Right,
Spain.
then who were they going to play? Because you touched the screen with me.
Someone big.
Somebody tell me.
Someone who wins their group.
Somebody.
Uruguay.
Tell me.
Uruguay?
I think they play Uruguay.
I had Uruguay going through.
Yeah? Well done, Al. Right.
It's the predictor. It's all
So I
up.
had them getting out of the group, and then I think I had them going out in the 16.
Is that a flop for them?
Well, you have to go to Lisbon.
Obsessed with a flop, aren't you?
Uruguay? Portugal? How far are they getting?
I think I had them beating Uruguay and then losing in the quarters to France.
Okay. All right, we've got your predictor, Craig. Here it comes.
Hey!
Oh,
Again.
no Portugal. So Uruguay, you've got them beaten.
So I didn't have them getting out of the group.
Yes,
yeah, they get out of the
yes. The round of 16, bit before this one. Bit.
Well, who are they playing in the round of 16?
Uruguay.
Where?
At the top. Oh, my God. Quarter final.
I didn't have to put the graphic up because I just said that.
Oh, goodness me.
Because Ali said Uruguay before they were getting the
Have
graphic.
you got them?
I've got them doing exactly the same as Craig.
Why is this graphic?
Being knocked out.
Wait, you did ask for the graphic.
Oh, I asked for it and then they were too late to bring it up. You said Uruguay, then the graphic come up. I don't want to see any more graphic.
Who is going to finish the top scorer in this year's World Cup?
Get that bloody thing off.
Timo Werner.
Timo Werner.
Timo Werner.
Wow.
Why?
Well,
Come on, why?
Because Germany's going to get a lot of opportunities in the group stage, and usually you get somebody who gets a big game, maybe scores a hat trick in the group stage, and then gets a couple more goals, and that's about it. It's 6 goals that get you the golden boot. So there you go, Timo Werner.
Timo Werner.
I'm going to go for the obvious, Lionel Messi.
I think that's the obvious. He's not the favourite.
I think he'll have a wonderful World Cup. He'll go and score most of Argentina's goals. He will be the outstanding player in the tournament. If Argentina do well enough, which I think they would do well enough by getting into the last 4, maybe.
What are you laughing at?
I think I said Neymar.
Right. You don't worry about what you said before. No one's going to hold you to it.
No, but I'm actually not worried.
Well, then why'd you keep bringing it up?
I'm just trying to get it right.
Why? If you're not worried, then why worry
I'm
about
trying to get it right.
Why?
I'm not worried. I'm just trying to get it right.
Why are you worried about
I
it?
like to be right.
Surely you
Change
are
your
worried
mind.
about it.
You
'cause
can change
you
your
keep bringing
mind
it up.
over the last 2 weeks.
When do you come back?
About 15 days time.
Craig, what is your favourite golf course you've ever played on? And have you ever had a hole-in-one?
Yeah, I've had 2.
Pitch and putt, that wasn't it?
2 holes in 1.
Did you see the pride there?
I've had 2. I don't know why you had to wipe your nose when you said that.
Because my nose was running.
That's a typical London thing. Well, I know you spent a bit of time in London. When you say something good, you have a little sniff after you say it.
What's this going on?
No, I'm having a sniff.
Yeah.
I'm actually having a sniff because my nose is running. I've got a little bit of a fever.
World Cup fever, baby.
I've got World Cup predictoritis.
So,
There you are.
I had 2.
I've actually had 2. And holes in 1 are not actually
did you keep the
skill.
ball? Is the ball framed at home?
They're lucky. When you get a hole in 1, it's quite lucky. More than anything
Yeah.
else. So I've had a
Did you
couple.
keep, like, is the ball
One of them I
framed?
got in Portugal.
Right.
And I was on a lads golf trip, and it was the last day.
Oh, that must
and
be
I
expensive.
had, let's just say I wasn't in the best of condition.
Whilst playing?
No, after the night before.
Okay.
And so I was a bit rough.
Right.
And so I just got on the tee at the par 3 and hit any old club.
That's the way you work. Just that easy.
Sam.
It went in.
You know,
Any old club.
that's when I get 2. Not 1, but 2.
Well, I've actually had 3.
Oh, my crikey. Do your nose thing again now.
I've actually had 3. Can I tell you what? One of them was a provisional. So I put my first one in
Yeah,
the
that
drink.
doesn't count.
And then I
Doesn't count.
hold it for a
That
par.
doesn't count.
No, I know it didn't count, and that's why I never...
So why'd you bring it up?
Because I never bought the lads a drink.
Why'd you
well,
bring
they
it
said
up?
it was.
Well, they're wrong.
Technically, it's a hole in one.
No, it's not.
Anyway,
It's a 3.
best course I've ever played?
Got to be a Scottish one, isn't it?
Hunbury.
Yeah.
Anyone who can help Craig with turn 3.
Very difficult course. And if there's any tickets available, I would.
Wow.
ESPN FC is with you every day, by the way, throughout the world. We're with you every day anyway.
Yeah. So why you?